We're going to create a testimonials UI component in here for mainly HTML and CSS. And we call it a component or a block because you can just copy this testimonial section, paste it in your website, and I think you're good to go. So that's what we want to create here, a testimonials UI component where we have a simple heading, a description, and then we'll have three cards. Each of them has this image and this name, a position, and then the testimony. So here's the plan, here's our direction. We'll create first this one here. We'll create the image first. I think let's not put it in the top. We'll add that just right here, and then the position, the name, position, and then this description. We'll create first this one, and we'll just copy this two. So because they're all identical. So that's the plan, and let's get started. So I mainly have a empty HTML in here and a little bit of CSS, just defaults for HTML and body. And let's get started with creating our heading and a description in here. So let's try to wrap them in a div. Let's add a class of testimonials details, and then we'll add an h2 of testimonials, something like that, and then we'll add a p tag with a simple default in here, like a dummy data. I think that's good to go. Then we'll proceed to adding our cards. But before adding our cards, let's wrap them in a div called testimonials, because in here we have to separate them like a space in between. So to do that, we'll need to have a container for them. Then inside the testimonials, this is where we actually have to add the testimonials. So we'll put a div, we'll put a class of testimonial, singular one. Um, so we have a wrapper for all the testimonials. Then we have the actual testimonial itself. So the first thing I think we need to add is an image. We'll wrap again in a div, call this image. But well, actually add an image right here. I think I need to add images first. Oh, I already have in here, so you can just do it on your own as well. You have images, and we'll just address each one in here, writing our search source in here. So images, I think I'll start with John, that JPG, and then let's save. So I'm just gonna hide this. So I have one right here. And then I think we'll proceed to other markups. So we have a class of heading. Let's add a name, and here the position. So let's put a span, a class of position, and the actual content is, I think, CEO of this developer channel. So in here we have this already, and let's try to add actual testimony. So we'll add a class of testimony here, and a simple again a simple data. So I think this is good to go, and now let's proceed to styling our this testimonial section or component. So let's proceed to the CSS. And I think because we started from top to bottom, we'll do that. We'll start with the testimonials details, and then we'll add a full text max width, have a maximum width of 700 px. So, and I think that should be in here, testimonials, yeah, details. So there, so it's a little bit smaller now. and we'll text align at the center there, and I think we have to add a margin top and bottom of 0, left and right to auto, so we want it centered right there. And then let's try a default of line height of 1.6 so that it has a little bit of spacing in this section, because whatever the style of the parent will be inherited by the children. So this is the children of testimonial details, the heading and the paragraph, so it will automatically inherit those and that. So that's pretty much what we want in here. And then we'll just make the h2 a little bit bigger. Testimonial details h2 font size of 36px. So I think that's quite going well. And then the next thing we have to add is the actual testimonials. So we'll add first the containers. So testimonials. This is the containers. This is the testimonials. This is the container for all the testimonial. So did I spell it right? Testimonial. I just copied it. So right there. And then we'll display flex. And then we'll try to justify the content in the center, and then we'll put a gap, a space between the cards of 2rem. You can see it now actually, because it's just one card for now, but later I'll explain to you this section. So I think we can inspect that. So we have here testimonials. So we have testimonials. Testimonials. Then testimonial. There. So I think that's going well. And I'm just gonna this one in. I think yeah, because the picture is so much bigger. So we have a testimonial in here. You see the padding and the margin and the gap. So that's pretty much the gap between the cards. So I think you can actually see that when we create a testimony. So a testimonial. So let's style the card, because we named the card testimonial. We add them right here. I think we'll start with the max width of 300px, so it will be a lot smaller now. So right there. However, my image is overlapping, but I will fix that later after this. And let's try to add a margin. You know what? Yeah. So we'll just finish it. So margin of 2rem 0, and then we'll add a padding of top and gram and gram. So I'm adding in here. I think the image is getting in the way, so let's actually make the image now. That's the mg at the height of 120, because it's testimonial. So yeah, so I think that's a little better now. So we can proceed to go back to styling our testimony card. So the next thing is we'll add a border 1px solid. I'm just gonna copy my color in here. So right there, I think it's pretty much going well, and I will add a border radius of 1rem there, and because later we'll add that later. We'll add a back shadow here, and I think that's pretty much going well. So I think the next thing we have to do is to style the heading. I think we'll start with the image because the image is a little tricky because we want an image to be here. So to do that, let's try to style the image first. So the testimonial, the image, let's try to add height. This is the actual div, the container for the image. 20px, a width of 20px as well, and then a border radius of 100% or 50%. You can see, we'll just add the background color. Just you can see that one. The sun testimonial. I think I'm not targeting again. Oh no, just the testimonial image. Testing. Why is it that I'm not seeing that one? So just gonna go back here. Testimonial and image. Testimonial. I think I'm not seeing it. So let's try to make the height of 0. So right there, so it's just covering our image. So I think I will fix that later. So we'll just proceed here. We'll put a margin. So we want it centered right there, and then border. You know what? I want it to make this image already a circle because the holder is already circle. Try to add here. Background and color of yeah, I was wondering why it's not circle yet because I have actual border radius, not just a border. So it's already circle, and I want this image to be also a circle. I think to do that, we'll just to make it circle. I think we want its overflow hidden. So this is this one already overflowed in there. Overflowed our circle. That's why we can see our circle. So we can add overflow hidden in our div. So let's try to add that. And I think yeah, so that's pretty much working, and I want it to be centered in here. So to do that, I think I may want to add a margin left of 50%, and then because I'm just gonna explain this one. So this is the image. If I want to fix it 50%, it will go just above in here, and it will still overlap to do. I'm just gonna show you margin left of 50%. So right, so it just moved over there. It's it's not yet centered. So I think we can do a transform and translate x of negative 50%. So I think yeah, so that is already centered. So right there. So as you can see, there's already the image is really at the center of the circle, right? So this is the circle, and the image is really at the center. So what happens is we remove the margin in here. So right there, it will still go there. So it's still, I think we can do 100% in here as well. Let's try. So yeah, it won't work. So we have to add a margin left 50%, then translate it back to negative 50%, so it will be centered. So that's pretty much, I think, the complication in that. So um, let's proceed to the actual circle itself. So let's try to add Actually, I think in the other episode, I'll try to explain more the usage of why this is moved at the left, why we have to move the margin at the left of 50%, then translate it back. So I think that will be on another video. But for now, it's how you center a content, an image inside a div. So that's pretty much it. So the next thing you have to do, we will just have to remove the red background first. And I think what we need to do is to add a border first. 5px solid. I'm just gonna copy my color in here, so I'll see that. So I'm adding a border, and it's pretty much boring. If the It's already good, but I think an outline would make it better. So we'll add an outline of 3px solid and in this color. So yeah, I think it has a little bit of shadow in there, and so that's pretty much what I want. And then I think the next challenge is how we can put it in there at the top. So I think the next thing we have to do is make this a position absolute. Let's try to do that. So right there, and a top of 0, left of 0, and right of 0. So it will be at the top. Then because we have the right of 0, it will be put in here, and at the top, right, and left. So it will be centered. So it overlaps because we have to put relative in here. So it should be absolute to just relative position. So right there. So it's back. And then I think the next thing we have to do is to put a margin at top. So let's just negate the margin top, because our size is 120px, half of that is 60px. So let's try negative 60px, and it will be centered. So that's pretty much calculation in there. So I think we're going to circle back to our text in here. So we'll design the text. I think we'll just put right above in there. So we'll try to have, we call this heading, but yeah, let's try to style it. The testimonial heading. Then we'll put a font size of 1.2 rem. I think a little bit of change in there. A font weight of 600, so a little bit bold. And then a margin of, we want to negate all margins, so 0. And then padding top of 1 rem. So that's pretty much spacing between the uh, image and the text in here. So on the bottom, they're so close, we want to add a little bit of spacing in there, adding bottom of 3 rem. So that will do, and we'll make it a little smaller and less attractive. So let's try to target that. I think that's position class, so let's negate the margin as well, 0. And then font size, let's make it a little bit smaller. Okay, so that's pretty much it. And then the color of here. So yeah, so it's a little bit not so attractive, because we want the users to see the name first, then the position, and then their testimony. So moving forward, I think the next thing we have to do is to style here. So already style a position, and we'll try to style the actual testimony. So to do that, just target the testimonial. Um, I do this. We have to wrap is a testimonial something like this, because if you want to paste this in your CSS in your actual website, so it doesn't have any overlap. If you have already have a heading or you already have a position class in there, so we always want to wrap them inside this wrapper testimonial, because we don't want any collision of your classes when you actually try to insert this HTML CSS into your actual website or actual document. So just that's just a little bit of logic behind this one. So we'll try to start testimony and the padding. I think we'll have a padding at top of 0.4 m, and then I think that's pretty much good. So it has a little bit of space in there, and then line height. This is too close. The lines are too close together. We want to add 1.6 in there. So yeah, so it's a little bit far off. And then a color, we want a color of this one. So that's pretty much it. And think we're lacking some space above in there. So I think for testimonials in here, we are lacking a padding bottom um, of GRAM. So it has a little bit of space in there. So at the top. So I think that's pretty much it. And also I think we want to have a open quote in there. So to do that, we don't actually have to write a quote. We can just put it after the testimonial. In here we have a testimonial before, and then content will add open quote. Open quote. So you see a small one in here. Well, add a font size of 6 RAM. Make it a lot bigger. So a font family, I think Arial will make most of a really good design. So a good font right there. And we'll position that absolute because it's taking spaces. So position absolute, and we'll want to put it at the top, right here. So, and it's a little bit at the top, so we'll put a margin top of 1.5 rem. That will do. And it's a little bit attractive, so we want to make it a little less attractive. So, right there, I think that's pretty much good. So it doesn't occupy, well, because we want our users to see here the name, then their testimony, and then the description, the image. So I think that's the actual flow in there. So we'll try to add one. We'll try to add one in here, one card. So to do that, I'm just gonna copy a testimony in here. So right there. And it's missing a card. It's missing something like here. So actually, there's a workaround to that. In the CSS, you have to close the code. So the testimonial is gonna copy this. Then after and content, we have to negate the code. So no, close. So there. So it's already two codes. So I think we're not yet missing anything. So we'll try to add the last card in here. So just gonna put the card in there. So yeah, so that's that's pretty much it. So this is our testimonials UI component where we explained at the introduction of the video. We have heading and the cards, images and position and names, and then their description. So this is pretty much how you can create a testimonials UI component in HTML and CSS.